So Winnie the Pooh, now a slasher film. This is crazy to me. When I saw this, I said, what is going on here? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this with the patent professor, John Rizvi. He's a registered patent attorney, and he's here to explain how this whole thing came about. Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, how are you? Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of people don't realize copyrights expire, and that's exactly what's happening with Winnie the Pooh. The copyrights expired last year, and it's in the public domain now as of January 1st of 2022.
So what happens here is when the copyright expires, things become public domain, and now you could take this idea and pretty much do whatever you want with it?
Absolutely. And, you know, and it's hard when it's, you know, something like a beloved character that we've all grown up with, such as Winnie the Pooh. So, you know, it's to have a horror version is really tough. And a lot of people are up in an uproar. They're like, how in the world can this happen? Why did Disney allow this to happen? Right? Like, don't they have enough? Yeah. Don't they have a huge investment in wanting to keep Winnie the Pooh as the Winnie the Pooh we all know and love? Like, don't they have a vested interest in that? And they do. The problem is that the copyrights are expired, and Disney no longer has any exclusive rights to that original version of Winnie the Pooh. Now, they have the Disney-fied version, which is with the red T-shirt and the particular elements that they've added to Winnie the Pooh. That's still under copyright protection. So this director is really careful not to take those elements that are that were created by Disney. For example, the spelling of honey as Hunny, and Winnie the Pooh saying "oh bother." Like, those are elements that were not in the original book by A.A. Milne. Those are elements added by Disney, so the director of this film is careful not to take those. But they're not really necessary in order for, you know, people watching the film. There's no doubt that it's Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and all the characters that everyone loves, except now they're not lovable characters. They're going on a horror rampage, a carnivorous rampage in the movie. So that's a little tough to take.
You're 100% right. And we're on with John Rizvi. ThePatentProfessor.com is his website, and you can find him on all social media platforms at The Patent Professor, at The Patent Professor. And one of the things that I think is interesting here is the new take, right? So it's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and it talks about how Christopher Robin abandons Pooh and Piglet and on the 100-acre woods, and all of them become feral. And when Christopher Robin returns to the region, he's horrified to see what's become of his childhood friends. I think it's a dark take, and it's not the first time we've seen this type of thing happen, but it's an interesting one because Pooh, you know, is really probably one of the softest characters out there. You know, little fat bear, and he was designed, I think, to be cute and, you know, and friendly, and, you know, that's the whole shtick of Winnie the Pooh is it's him and his friends. And it's interesting to me how, you know, they've taken that and kind of gone into a different direction with it. From what you know, from your position, John Rizvi, what are some other examples of patents that have run out where this has happened?
Well, what I can say is there's going to be a lot more instances of this happening, and so this is just the tip of the iceberg. Disney's got Bambi in the public domain, Peter Pan, non-Disney characters, Bugs Bunny, Batman, Superman. This is for the first time we're going to have a lot of well-known characters going into the public domain, and I don't think we're used to seeing. Especially as you mentioned, like Winnie the Pooh is a lovable bear, but these are all lovable characters. And, you know, I don't want to, as far as a spoiler alert on the movie, but just to take other. So imagine if Sesame Street, if the same thing when that goes in the public domain, like, and this is all make believe. This isn't anything that's happened. But what if Big Bird and Oscar conspire to kill Snuffleupagus, and like these are hurtful things for people to see, and there's an outcry saying, wait a minute, you can't. It's almost as if people feel they have a vested interest and some kind of right to protect their cherished memories of these characters. And when someone takes turns them into a horror film, they want somehow the law to step in and protect that and prevent that, and the law can. I mean, it's the copyright term. When the copyright first became, the first duration was 28 years, and it's been expanding over time to now it's 75 years after the author's death, or 95 years total. That's a lot longer than copyright duration ever was, and now you're finding a lot of IP is going into the public domain for the first time.
You know, again, we're with the patent professor, John Rizvi. You know, John, I look at this, and I'm looking at the article that I was reading where it says that the same production company, Jagged Edge Productions, is considering doing this with Peter Pan as well, and a couple of others, old titles. And I just think, I mean, maybe it's a little easier to turn Peter Pan into a dark horror type of thing. But it's just, I mean, with it in the public domain, I guess you could do a lot of things with it. It doesn't have to become a slasher flick, but I guess that's what they specialize in, right?
Exactly. It doesn't have to become a slasher flick, but it could also go, I mean, any of these characters in the public domain could also go obscene, rated R. Like they could. There's no limitation. Once something's in the public domain, there's really no limitation on where someone's creativity can take these characters, and that's problematic as well for a lot of people that are looking at this. They're like, they don't want to see an X-rated Elmo or an X-rated any of these characters. Even Winnie the Pooh, like this. I mean, in this instance, they've gone slasher and horror, but they could go in a different direction. And once something's in the public domain, it's not only in the public domain, limited to certain variations. Anything's fair game at that point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I appreciate the update. I think a lot of people did not know that this was happening. And, if their kids say, hey, I want to see the new Winnie the Pooh movie, parents, beware. It may be a little bit more than you bargained for. Again, we're on with John Rizvi, the patent professor. Check out his website, thepatentprofessor.com. And you can check him out at The Patent Professor on all social media platforms. John Rizvi, I want to thank you for being on with us tonight.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.